He's making waves. And clearly, as soon as that happens, as soon as someone starts making waves, the Democrats look at that and go, we should also change. We should also do this. We should do our very best to behave like this, to try and ensure that we try to figure out what the essence of Zoran is, what has caused Zoran to be so successful, and then recreate it in our own image, use it to our own advantage. And of course, Andrew Cuomo, who just lost to Zoran, predictably doesn't realize that the thing that made Zoran successful was the policies and the people-backed candidacy born out of his earnest interest in advancing people's material conditions, the working class's material conditions. He was able to create this massive ground game as a direct consequence of identifying issues that people were experiencing in New York and then offering solutions and constantly just pushing on those issues over and over again, having a people-first candidacy, having a people's first campaign. But of course, Democrats refuse to do that. So I guess the only thing that they're doing in its stead is the videos, man on the street videos. We're here. We're going to see a lot of Democrats, annoying Democrats of all different backgrounds, try to do the Zoran like man on the street style, videos. So get ready for that, because they literally think it's just social media. They think it is just about like going outside and filming yourself and then making social media stuff. They think it's just aesthetics, which is incredibly stupid. Okay, it is incredibly stupid. Yeah, Zoran has a big speech addressing his supporters and stuff. We'll look at that too, but let's continue. Let's see.
I'm Andrew Cuomo. And unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know that the Democratic primary did not go the way I had hoped. To the 440,000 New Yorkers who voted for me,
this guy did not want to be on camera. That's so funny. He tries to dab up. Look at this.
Did not go the way I had hoped. To the
that's staged, okay? And that's a Parks guy. That's a New York Parks guy, and he did not want to be on it. Look at this.
140,000 New Yorkers who voted.
He literally doesn't even turn around. He doesn't even look at Andrew Cuomo in the face. And he just basically keeps it pushing. He goes, okay, dabbed you up, keep going.
Voted for me, a sincere thank you. Thank you for believing in me, in my agenda, and in my experience. And I am truly sorry that I let you down. But as my grandfather used to say,
Bro, this is, oh my God, he's trying to do Zoran. He's trying to do the classic, the Zoran walk from point to point. When Zoran did tip to tip and went from one part of Manhattan to the top of New York, or I think he did the 5 boroughs walk, whatever. Like when Zoran did the thing after he got like death threats, it's crazy. It's crazy to see Andrew Cuomo trying to like recreate that, not realizing that it's not just about, the fact that he got hella people shaking his hands, okay? When he did that shit, it wasn't about like people shaking his hands on video. It was how much that materialized into a real ground game. It was how impactful his policies, his agenda was. These people literally think it's just fake. They think Zoran Mamdani looked good on these social media hits, and that's the reason why people were dabbing him up, not realizing that he was nothing, okay? Zoran was nobody. I'm sorry, this is not disrespectful to Zoran. This is just the reality. He was just a low-level assemblyman. The reason why people were dabbing his ass up everywhere he went is because people believed in the policies. That's it. And that social media campaign was not fake. It was just a way to show. It was just a way to show how popular he was with like regular folk out of nowhere. That's the thing. You can see this gap playing out in the young/old races. Some of the elderly members do social, and it looks like cameo. It looks like the cameo you get from a celebrity you thought was dead. I think these guys unironically have deluded themselves into believing, okay? I think these guys unironically deluded themselves into believing a falsehood. Oh, believing a falsehood that the thing that made Zoran popular was the social media videos, and not social media videos translating or showcasing the actual popularity of Zoran on the ground because of the policies. It always goes back to the policies. Zoran is a vessel. He is a vehicle. He is a politician. I don't understand why Democrats just keep forgetting this incredibly basic concept. I don't care about how sexy a politician is. I don't care about how charismatic a politician is. I care about a politician's policies. Their charisma helps. It doesn't hurt, but it only helps when they are communicating earnesty, okay? When they're communicating what they want to do. You can be the most charismatic person on the planet, but if your policies are dog shit, you're going to lose. Okay, this is incredibly insincere. And yeah, Zoran ratioed his ass, apparently, where he contribute NewYorkCityVotes.org. New York City Campaign Finance Program gives you small donor contribution with a big impact. And all of this is happening as like Cuomo himself has not even acknowledged whether or not he's going to run. So this is a real will he, won't he type situation with Cuomo, ironically enough. So he's not even saying that he's actually going to run. I mean, he's so cooked. He's so cooked. You cannot have a banger social media campaign, okay?
You get knocked down. Learn the lesson and pick yourself back up and get in the game. And that is what I'm going to do. The fight to save our city isn't over. Only 13% of New Yorkers voted in the June primary. The general election is in November, and I am in it to win it.
Oh, he is in it.
My
okay,
opponent, Mr.
So this is his announcement that he's staying in.
Mamdani offers slick slogans, but no real solutions. We need a city with lower rent, safer streets. We're buying your...
Because he's gone back and forth on whether or not he's going to actually run. That's the hilarious part of this, is that he keeps going, yeah, I'm going to run, but I'm not going to run. I don't know if I want to run. And now he's running.
The first home is once again possible, where childcare won't bankrupt you. That's the New York City we know. That's the one that is...
Bro, this is so fake. I'm losing my mind. Oh my God, he's trying to... This is pathetic, bro. This is actually pathetic. He's trying to do the Zoran thing. Oh, these guys are so awesome. They're so stupid. They are so stupid. Exactly the kind of stupidity that I despise when they're running against Republicans, because this is exactly the type of stupidity that causes them to lose against Republicans. But right now, he's running against a Democrat. He's running against our guy. He's running against Zoran Mamdani. So I like that he's making these mistakes, because if he was smart, if he was actually intelligent, he would identify what caused Zoran Mamdani to get tremendous success. Because he didn't have the name recognition. Social media helped get him the name recognition, but it wasn't the charisma that allowed people to enjoy Zoran Mamdani or see Zoran Mamdani as a real dynamic candidate that they could rely on, that they could vote for. It wasn't his social media operation. It was his policies. His policy always goes back to policies. You don't go to McDonald's just because of the marketing. You go because you like the Big Mac, okay? They're literally going into a laboratory and figuring out, like chemists are figuring out, how bad is the audio?
Shut the fuck up! Fuck! Oh my God! There's nothing I can do. It's not my control. It's not on my end. It's not happening because of me.
I don't know what to do. I think you got haters. It's insane. It's not. No, it's not. It's not my haters. It's my stupid ass, autistic ass fan base who literally cannot control themselves when they see like a minor audio issue. That's it. It's not my haters. It's my fans. It's you Don't think it's somebody else. It's you. You're the one doing it. Don't act like this is a calculated operation. Take some accountability, just like I need to take accountability, that I need to stop losing my mind over this shit. But it's an issue that is completely outside of my control, and there's nothing I can do about it. So every single time there's a blip or something, and people lose their minds over it, there's nothing I can do. Like, there's nothing I can do. And the helplessness of it all makes it even more annoying, okay? Holy that's it. It's the same as like the misophonia, okay? Chat can't contend with any minor. Hello? That was crazy. My roadcaster just like restarted on its own. I don't even know why that happened. Maybe it was a roadcaster related issue. Maybe it's fine now. Hopefully it's fine. We shall see. But it's back now. Maybe it fixed itself. I don't know. Me, dude. Holy shit. Bro, ignore chat today? No, I can't ignore chat. It is a big part of what I do. A big part of what I do is it requires me to constantly have a back and forth communication with chat. Anyway. Ay, ay, ay. As I was saying, okay, you don't go to a restaurant. You don't go to a restaurant just because of the marketing. You go to that restaurant maybe one time because of the marketing, but you don't go back to that restaurant if it's just marketing, okay? You need to have like an actual product. For politicians, their product is what they can do for you, okay? Their product and what they're selling is what they can do for you. And a lot of these stupid Democrats and many stupid Republicans as well just forget that their product, what they're serving for you, is their policies. It's that simple. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. This is at the heart of the democratic process. This is what democracy is all about. Okay? There are a million reasons as to why Zoran was as successful as he was as initially a relatively unknown figure in New York politics going into the Democratic primary and then actually seizing seizing all of the attention from this incredibly crowdy, incredibly busy primary race, and just making a name for himself successfully, and becoming basically like the singular force for progressive politics, like the guy that everyone could basically associate with and like rally around, right? But the issue here is people think he was able to do that because of his social media. People think he was able to do that because of his social media team. And I know his social media team. There are Hasanabi heads in his social media team. It's not just the social media team. The social media team did a fantastic job of getting Zoran in front of people. But more importantly than just getting Zoran in front of people, the social media team did a fantastic job of getting Zoran's policies in front of people. Okay? But because these guys, including Andrew Cuomo and everyone else that have done like an analysis on like Zoran's success, has consistently repeated this lie over and over again that, oh, it's because he did like sexy social media stuff and that's why he saw so much success. They believe their own lies, and it's kind of funny when you think about it. Like it's obvious that this isn't just a simple distraction. They didn't arrive at this. They weren't just saying like, oh, what's Zoran's success? Oh, it's just superficial shit. I thought when the media was saying that, they were just doing that because they just like refused to identify that like these policies are rather popular. And social media, his good social media team basically got this in front of so many people. But they truly believe it. They think it's actually just him doing man on the street stuff. It's him dabbing people up.
Still possible. You haven't given up on it. And you deserve a mayor with the experience and ideas to make it happen again, and the guts to take on anyone who stands in the way. Every day I'm going to be hitting the streets, meeting you where you are, to hear the good and the bad, problems and solutions. Because for the next few months, it's my responsibility to earn your vote. So let's do this. I'll see you out there.
Like, I am the social media guy, right? I should be taking advantage of the stupidity of the Democratic Party. If I was a grifter, I'd be like, yeah, you know why Zoran won? Because of the podcast vote. You know why Zoran won? Because he came to me, because he went to Chapo, because he went on all these podcasts, okay? But that's a lie. Like, that's not the case. I'm out here handing the strategy for free 99, even though it goes against my best interest, okay? It's so stupid that everyone in like traditional media, all these old people in traditional media are like, what is this? How did this happen? How did Kamala lose? For months, when CNN would come to me and like NBC, CBS, all these outlets would come to me and ask, like, we're doing an autopsy on why Kamala Harris lost. And we think it's because there's no Joe Rogan of the left. You have been identified as the Joe Rogan of the left. I kept repeating it over and over again. You cannot podcast your way out of this problem. You cannot social media your way out of this problem. Okay? You can't. You need to have, I could interview every candidate. I could interview Pete Buttigieg. Okay? Tomorrow, I could interview Kamala Harris. But I cannot, or Joe Rogan himself, who has a much larger platform than me, cannot actually make or break someone's candidacy. Okay? The candidates themselves also have to figure out what the issues are, what the people are perceiving as like major issues, okay? And then have an actual solution and be able to communicate that actual solution in an earnest way, in a way that people believe. It's so stupid. Where does Hassan get these dope-ass t-shirts? Great question, thank you. Ideology.shop. Ladies and gentlemen, it's still available. This is my latest line of merchandise. Ideology.shop, America made, Union made, as always. Here are some of the fits. Yeah, another thing that people don't understand is that, like, Mamdani won an 11-way primary race. Cuomo's unpopularity worked for all the other candidates. Mamdani won because he had the best policies. It's not like Mamdani just defeated Andrew Cuomo. Mamdani also defeated all of the other younger candidates, for example. Like, this is something that people are forgetting. Mamdani in the first rank vote got more votes than everybody else. It's that simple. He won. He defeated like 10 other candidates or 11 other candidates, some of which had Andrew Cuomo style policies, but without the baggage of being Andrew Cuomo. Okay. And for some weird reason, people just like discount all of that. Here are some of the key takeaways from the new DFP New York City poll. In a traditional mayoral electorate, Mamdani is up 16 points over Cuomo. 100% union made, right? Yes. Zoran Mamdani leads with all racial groups and 4 out of the 5 boroughs. Andrew Cuomo has negative favorability among Democrats, -9, independents, -43, and Republicans, -15. Housing is Democrats' top issue at 33%, but less than 1% of Republicans said it was theirs. Like, it's not, he won a resounding victory. Like, he won a victory that is undeniable, okay? You cannot, no matter how hard you try to swing it in whichever direction you want to swing it, you cannot try to change the attention from what the actual reasons were. Like Harry Sasson says, lesson of the night, and this was right after the primary ended. Please, Democrats, embrace social media and new media. It clearly works. Harry Sasson wasn't there. He wasn't there in the gym. He wasn't shooting up threes with Zoran, right? But he was a hanger-on that wanted to basically point to social media as the reason for success when it's not the case. That's not, like, social media played a role in this, but it's not like Harry Sasson played a role in this. He didn't say nothing about Zoran. He didn't play a role in this at all. The impact that social media has at the end of the day is a megaphone, okay? That's what it is. I am a vessel. I am a weapon that you can wield. I'll use myself as an example, as someone with a fairly large, fairly active community of like organizers and people who are door knockers themselves. Like, I'm a megaphone. What you say into that megaphone matters. Okay? If you take the megaphone that I am and yell into it and you say a bunch of dumb shit, if you say things are actually fine, a better future is not possible, then people are going to hear you and they're not going to like what you have to say. Do you understand? That's it. The reason why this worked so perfectly was because of what Zoran was saying, what his policies were. I don't know why this is so confusing for Democrats. I feel like they have whipped their base of support into winning primaries first and foremost so aggressively. They've basically created this media environment, this media ecosystem that revolves around panicking and like pushing away any sort of leftist mobilization and leftist momentum, that they've lost the plot about what it is. They lost the plot about what it is to be a politician in a democratic country. The entire point of democracy is to go out to your base of support and say, what do you need? And then they tell you, this is what I need. Fix this. Housing, major issue for me. Please fix it. And then you go, got you. I got you. Here's what I'm going to do for housing. It's that simple. I don't know why people want to complicate this situation. It's so dumb to try and complicate the situation. There's an entire industry, a cottage industry filled to the brim with like Yale, Harvard, and George Washington University graduates that get paid $100,000 to $200,000 a year to literally complicate this process. Oh, is it because you didn't go to the right podcast? Is it because you didn't dance? You didn't find like a brat style dance for yourself? You didn't associate yourself with like a popular song or whatever? No, it's none of those things. Those things can boost you, but at the most basic level, you have to have fundamentals. You have to have solid fundamentals. Okay? You can have the cleanest looking jumper of all time, but if you can't make those buckets, it doesn't fucking matter, all right? If you don't have solid fundamentals, it doesn't matter how clean your jumper looks. It doesn't matter what your gear looks like on the basketball court. You could have the coolest gear, okay? You could look like a real-ass baller. But if you don't have solid fundamentals, you're gonna lose. It's that simple. You're not gonna win. New memo from the Democratic ad firm Van Ness Creative Strategies, first shared with Semaphore, says the party's leaders are still failing to communicate online. The firm says if Democratic elected officials still feel uncomfortable posting, now is a great time to retire. It's not about posting. Bernie Sanders is not a poster. Bernie Sanders is the greatest example of why this is stupid. I am going to keep yelling this for free 99 over and over again for any Democratic consultant that wants to take this back to their campaigns and look like a brilliant strategist, okay? If you want this advice, I'm giving it to you for free. I keep giving it over and over again. Zoran organically was already on board with this, okay? He didn't have to like listen to me because that's where he was as well, personally. That's the reason why he won. Oh. This is the most idiotic shit. I mean, this is just like them maintaining a lie, obviously, a lie that justifies their existence. That's the other side of this problem, okay? The other side of this issue, the other side of this problem is that there's an entire industry that revolves around justifying its own existence. So all of the consultants and whatnot that go on television have to make it seem like it's not the policies. Please don't say it's the policies.
David, that Republicans want it to all be Zoran Mamdani, and they want to run against him in the upcoming elections. But it sounds like the challenge for Democrats, Paul, is to make the message that there are moderates in the party as well.
And the moderates are where the energy is. The moderates are dominant. I respect Mr. Mamdani's victory. He ran a great campaign. It helped that he had a disgraced opponent in Andrew Cuomo, the former governor who had to resign. But he got 45% or so of the vote, Mamdani did, with a 30% turnout. Okay, do the math. That's 13% of New York City Democrats. That's about 450,000 people.
This is the stupidest kind of cope, dude. He got more votes than Eric Adams did, okay, in the first round. than Eric Adams did when all of the votes were collected. Please stop. This is before ranked choice. In the first round, he got more votes than Eric Adams did. This is so dumb. Oh my God. They're looking at the most votes, I think the most votes any New York City mayoral candidate has gotten in a New York City mayoral primary. And they're saying it's actually, I mean, this is a tiny percentage of the votes overall. I mean, come on. There's still a shot here. There's still a shot to unseat him. And please don't say it's the policies. Please don't say it's actually because he's a leftist. Please, anything but that. Please. It's like at some point, people got to realize that Bernie Sanders is not so popular because he's hot. Bernie Sanders is not so beloved as a figure because he is sexy, charismatic, and can post on social media like a demon. Okay? That's not the reason. He's 900 years old, man. He's a curmudgeon. He is a 900-year-old curmudgeon, okay? Why do people love him? Why? Why do people love Bernie? Is it because he posts like a on social media? No. And I say this as someone who knows his social media team. It's not the social media. The social media team and Bernie Sanders' like appearances on social media only work because of who he is. And who Bernie is as a politician revolves around what he fights for. Okay? That's it, guys. Stop around whenever I say Bernie's not hot. Every single person goes, he's sexy. Speak for yourself. I want to suck him off. Shut up. I'm trying to make a serious point here. God damn. F you. Shut the up. Holy
Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, Tulsa, Oklahoma doesn't define a Republican Party. New York City shouldn't define the Democrats. Again, Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey, Abigail Spanberger in Virginia. By the way, we just won the Supreme Court race in Wisconsin, a state Trump carried. Susan Crawford won that by 11 points, despite Mr. Musk, back when he liked Trump, putting millions of dollars into the conservative candidate there. Democrats are winning everywhere, even though, as Urban Riley points out, we're directionless, rudderless, and leaderless, and yet we're winning.
Charismatic and great on social media. Discount the real reason why those qualities work in his favor. It's his policies. Bernie Sanders is also a beloved figure. He's 80 years old. Just let them fight. Libs and center-right people easier for Zoran. I know, but the reason why I lose my mind over this, it's good for us in the primaries. It's good for us when Zoran is running against these stupid Democrats who think like the magic sauce is just doing man on the street shit. Okay? But what they don't but this cooks us. This cooks us in general elections against Republicans. I want real fighters. I don't care. Okay? I don't care if they're 900-year-old demons. I want real fighters. I want real working class fighters, people who are going to fight for these issues. Okay? That's why I keep repeating this over and over again. I want the Democratic Party, which is currently the only game in town, okay, unfortunately. I want the Democratic Party to actually be a party that fights for the working class, okay? I want them to actually do something. I want them to be a successful hurdle, present a successful hurdle against the Republican agenda. I want them to be an obstructionist party when they're not in power, and I want them to be a real fighter when they are in power. I want them to consistently message the issues that Americans are experiencing, because I understand that even if I don't agree with the Democrats ultimately, I need them to do this. The reason why I need them to do this is because if the largest counter messaging tool that we have at our disposal is not consistently undermining the Republican strategy of routinely shifting people's attention away to marginalized populations, they're going to get wiped out. Okay, this is not me being like, this is not me shepherding my audience of radicals back to the Democratic Party, okay? This is me seeing the actual issues and trying to do some semblance of harm reduction. That's it. It is because I care about making sure that that migrant workers are not purged from our ranks and sent to concentration camps. It is because I care about getting people health care that I want at least the Democrats to be a vessel that will maybe not deliver that change, but at least will communicate the desires of the population so that more people can recognize that this is what they want, this is what they need. Doesn't Trump's second term serve as a counter argument to that theory? He's insufferable and vile, and his base gobbles it up. He doesn't have any real policies save for hate and bigotry, but aren't those more ideological than policy? Am I oversimplifying it? No. Trump actually plays the field that the Republican Party has designed in the past couple of decades very well. The Republicans play to culture war issues, okay? And Democrats will always lose when they are running against culture war issues. It's that simple. Democrats need to change the dynamic. Democrats need to change the rules of the game and take it back to issues that actually matter, not these distractions. Because if you're constantly playing defense on the culture war field, you're going to lose. Because the culture war field is designed by the Republicans to begin with. The idea that like the idea that like, oh, you're angry because trans people exist is clearly a successful method, especially when there is no real opposition against that kind of thing. To say like, leave trans people alone. What the f? These are just our neighbors. They also have the same exact issues that you do in terms of like your health care, right? That's the major problem for you. Your rent going up. That's a major problem for you. Every American is experiencing this issue, okay? Every single American has a cost of living problem. Every single American is experiencing an affordability crisis, okay? I saw a number the other day. It was like if you made $100,000 in 2020, as opposed to 2025, your money is 25% less valuable because of how unaffordable things have gotten. So if your money did not go up, if you made $100,000 in 2020 and you're making $100,000 in 2025, you're making 25% less money now. Okay? That's crazy. That's crazy. You think that's not impactful? That's incredibly impactful. That's a problem that everyone experiences. And the brilliance of the Republican Party is that they recognize that issue. They recognize the anger and resentment that causes. And then they shift people's attentions back to like Mexicans. They're like, yeah, you're angry about this. Democrats don't give a f about fixing this. I'm going to fix it by what? By purging the country from Mexicans. Doesn't Trump's second term serve as a counter argument to that theory? Is no, it's wrong. Trump's second term actually perfectly identifies the problem that I'm presenting. The Democrats refuse to identify what the issues are and offer real solutions to those problems. Okay? And then the Republicans come in and they at least recognize the resentment that people have, and they campaign year round on other shit that people are annoyed by, other shit that people find to be weird. They create hysterics around things that aren't even happening. And then the Republicans, the Democrats have no solution to that. So they just basically play catch up over and over and over again. And they lose. And then in the process of losing the argument that the Republicans crafted, they turn around and do what? They capitulate. They basically say, you know what? The Republicans were right. It is trans people. We were being too crazy about this trans stuff. Ain't nobody gives a f about the trans shit, man. If one party was offering health care for all and the other party was like, no, the working poor should be melted for biomatter, no one would be talking about trans people, okay? You would look at a person that's talking about trans issues and go, who gives a f? What are you saying? The easiest counter to this is one that I use all the time. Like when I went on Theo Vaughn and I said, it's not a trans person that's your landlord. It's not a Guatemalan person that's your boss that's like refusing to give you better wages, okay? That's not it. These are only issues for you if you got all this other shit solved. If all these other problems that you're experiencing are no longer a problem, then you can focus on that. It's that simple. Very frustrating.
I think that's something that Democrats just don't get. It's certainly not mainstream moderate Democrats that can win national elections.
Yeah, let's take the lessons that Democrats should learn, but let's also not go for a head fake. Here's the lessons. Number one, vertical videos. Buying the old game of buying.
Oh, God. Fire every single one of these people. They're so stupid.
Tonnage on network, on local news is over. This guy won because not only is he authentic, but because he understands the media. It is about TikTok, and he understands how to do it and do it well. But the one message for Democrats I want to make sure that they don't get caught up in, there's a difference between somebody who won because they are a media sensation versus, oh, now the answer is we go hard left, we go super progressive. What wins in general elections, and if you look at Ruben Gallego and you look at Elizabeth Slotkin, you look at Mikey Sherrill coming up, Abigail Spanberger, in those states that need to be won, if the Democrats go super hard left, they're never going to win another election. I feel very strongly about this. So learn about the media story here. Learn about authenticity of a candidate. Don't necessarily say, oh, this means we go crazy progressive hard left. Dangerous, dangerous path for Democrats.
Ay, ay, ay. They just keep reiterating. These are people that are way, way, way more involved in their own careers. Okay?
Talk about
they care about their own personal agenda and their own personal careers and advancing their own personal worldview than giving real solutions to the Democrats. Okay? This is so stupid. Oh, there's real mobilization around Spanberger. Elisa Slotkin, she's a real up-and-comer in the Democrats. Like, no one thinks that. No one cares. People at best vote defensively for whoever the D is on those races, okay? God damn, these people suck so much.
Dami, one thing, and I've never done this on the show, I'd like to invite him on my podcast. As I talk, there's 1 million terrified Jews right now because you will not stand down on the terms glorify.
Shut the up. Oh my God. Oh my God. How can someone be wrong on everything? How can someone be so pathetically wrong on everything? How much more wrong can they get? How much more annoying and wrong can these get until the Democrats are like, hey man, maybe we shouldn't like these guys are just wrong, it seems. Like we just keep getting our shit pushed in by the dumbest Republicans on the planet. It makes me so mad. You'd be surprised. Yeah.
I mean, globalize the intifada. Jews are worried. We're worried we're going to go back to those violent protests. There's 1 million Jews in New York. You're representing the entire city. Please, as a Jewish media person, I would love to talk to you in a very frank, open discussion about it. There are a lot of worried Jews right now. When we talk about Mandami, one thing I've never...
Violent protests. What violence? Yeah, this is the type of shit that they're busy with. Hakeem Jeffries, Mamdani must reassure Jewish community that he's going to stand up for their safety and security. I'm losing my mind. These guys have already lost the argument. They've already lost the argument, but they're just still repeating it over and over again. And every time they repeat it, it just gets more annoying, okay? Nobody cares. Please stop. He has already addressed this 1 million times, dude. What do you want him to do? Just only run a campaign on talking about Jewish safety? Like, it's not just Jewish people that live in New York, you know what I mean? And it's not even Jewish people that we're actually talking about. It's people who are pro-Israel, frankly. That's it. That's it. You're not going to be able to bully this dude after a resounding success into capitulating to a pro-Israel position. And if he does, he will lose. If he does, he'll lose. That's the other thing. God damn, dude. I've said this already. Here's free ball for the Democratic consultants that sit around and listen to what I have to say, okay? An anti-Israel position is the easiest way to communicate your earnesty, to communicate that you're anti-establishment. It's that simple. This is the Democratic majority's position, okay? If you communicate this at a time when the entirety of the media is pro-Israel unconditionally, and the entirety of the Democratic and the Republican party's politicians are pro-Israel unconditionally, and you say, nah, dog, that, I'm not doing that. What they're doing is wrong, and I'm not on board with that. I want equal rights for everybody. It's it. That's it. That is the easiest way to immediately bring people onto your side. It is the easiest way to get people that actually do pay attention to that stuff to care about it. Most people don't even care about it, to be fair. Okay? Most people are like, why the do I care about Israel? What is going on here? Who gives a shit? Why? Why should I care about Israel? It's like, stop, enough with this Israel spam. I don't give a shit. Stop. It's so annoying. But the ones that do care recognize how bad the situation is. And even the ones that don't care recognize that every single person in the media, every single person in politics is presenting a pro-Israel position, regardless of what the population feels. So the easiest way to present yourself, even if you don't care, even if you love Israel, okay, just lie and say you hate Israel to win a goddamn race, to at least show how much of an anti-establishment figure you are at a time when people are looking for that, okay? It is the easiest way to communicate earnesty.
The Democratic Party does not like him because he represents a part of the party that the Democratic establishment does not like, which is the Democratic Socialists, which is where the party is.
I disagree with this, all of it. Really? Really? Oh, Andrew Schultz and Epstein? Okay. I don't know why you are saying you disagree with everything that I just said, but
they just won't acknowledge it. Like, the Democratic Party is the Democratic Socialist Party. Whether you like it or not, that's what the base wants. That's what the people are into. And the old establishment is not what they're into.
Honestly, that's what America wants. And you know why I'm going to tell you the link.
Bro, look at this. Look at this. Look at this conversation that's taking place. And people were trying to tell me that Zohran Mamdani's victory would not change discourse dramatically. Okay, that's so
it was
funny.
that he was using, and we had this conversation on Breakfast Club. Because I'm like, yo, Democrats, y'all can come up with names for everything, right?
Yeah.
Pregnant people, all that, like, right?
Yeah.
But you can't come up with a better term for socialism. So when he uses the term affordability, and he just talks about how things aren't affordable, that resonates with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Our campaign is one that sees this city under attack in two ways: an affordability crisis on the inside. We're the most expensive city in the United States of America. 1 in 4 New Yorkers are living in poverty. The rest are living in a permanent state of anxiety about whether they can keep affording this city. And then we're under attack from the outside, from a Trump administration that is hell-bent on going after not only New Yorkers, but frankly, democratic cities across the country, like we're seeing in Los Angeles right now.
That's what people want to hear.
The message
New
is
York's too expensive.
The message is resonating. Here's the thing, and this is the thing. Poor people did not vote for him, okay? Poor uneducated people did not vote for him because poor uneducated people, unfortunately, do not have the same entitlement to their dreams than middle class and rich people do. If you're like middle class, upper middle class, and rich, you're like, I deserve to be super rich and have everything work out, and like I'm entitled to that. Poor people a lot of times come from generations of poverty and they don't see that upper mobility. It's sad, it's tragic.
But wouldn't affordability resonate with those poor people though? Like when they hear when they hear somebody simply say, "Hey, shit is too expensive."
Yeah, but they didn't vote for him. So to me, the message that's really connecting are these people who feel entitled to a better life because they did everything that they were supposed to do, i.e. go to college. They got a meaningless degree. They have $200,000 worth of debt that they cannot get out of. And they're like, okay, I need the government to help me, which is understandable. The problem is the solutions that Zohran has, many of them, I'm not saying all of them, but many of them, he either cannot execute or they actually won't work to help the people. And that is, there is like data to.
Poor people didn't vote for Zohran shit is just like a misunderstanding, a misreading of how, a misreading of the data in and of itself, okay? Also, again, it doesn't matter. These people don't give a I mean, Andrew Schultz is just like repeating talking points that he's heard somewhere else, okay? But the people that present this as an argument, as a serious argument, are not sincere about it, okay? The analysts that say, oh, the poor people don't want to vote for Zohran. the data guys that say that are saying that in a cynical way, okay? They don't give a shit. There are a multitude of reasons for why some of the poorest voters did not vote for Zoran, okay? One of the major reasons is that they are going in for name recognition candidates, and a lot of them did not actually see any positive messages about Zoran, considering that the television ad spend was entirely anti-Zoran Mamdani. Okay? That's it. There's also the reality that under $100,000, which is what Zoran won as a voting block, with the exception of people who made like less than 35 grand, some of which who have report that kind of income are already retired as well. So then all of a sudden you're not thinking of like the guy who works at McDonald's, but you're actually thinking about someone's grandfather whose like yearly income is that low because they're old and they're just on Social Security. People basically, a huge reason too is Cuomo's legacy on the Housing Commission. So they just know that from the days old. They don't keep up with anything, but that has directly affected them. Yes. But it doesn't mean anything. It's just something that Zoran has to make up for. It's a target for him to penetrate with positive messaging in the general this time around. It doesn't mean that like the poorest voters don't f with Zoran Mamdani, or it doesn't mean that like his policies are actually bad for poor people or some shit. Okay. Ultimately, it just means that low information voters who are sometimes high propensity voters, really old voters, for example, older voters from every demographic, went with who they knew. Name recognition. It's that simple. It's not, it doesn't have to be more complicated than that. It's not like, oh, these guys are antagonistic to like socialism because they are the smartest when it comes to voting, like, or some shit like that. It's just so stupid. Okay? And these guys don't give a shit. The reality of the matter is, if those guys all overwhelmingly wanted socialism, no one would talk about it, okay? No one. They'd be like, these guys are poor, they're dumb, they don't know what the f they want to destroy, they're selfish. It's that simple. They're grabbing onto whatever they can to just say, oh, well, you know, these guys just like, they didn't vote for Zoran. What does that mean? What? There's got to be some other reason for it, you know?
Prove and back this. So I think the message is really resonating. And to be honest with you, I think the only party right now that you could say actually puts America first are the Democratic Socialists. Like, if you really want to talk about, oh, rah, 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 MAGA, America first, MAGA ain't America first right now. No. It's going against what the base.
Yeah. Remembering when Matty Iglesias said that people are only showing up to rallies for Bernie because he's Bernie, seems pretty crazy that the left happens to keep on lucking into these uniquely charismatic figures who are popular for reasons that have nothing to do with policy. I'll be the first to say that the difference between a flop leftist campaign and a successful leftist campaign often has very little to do with ideology, but Jesus Christ, people are addicted to ignoring the obvious thing. Yeah. I say every Democratic consultant that keeps repeating the stupid take that Zoran won because he's charismatic and great on social media discount the real reason why those qualities work in his favor. It's his policies. Bernie Sanders is also a beloved figure. He's 80 years old. But it's just funny because people like don't want to understand that. People don't understand that like the fundamental driver of a politician's campaign are his policies. You don't go to McDonald's because you want to Ronald McDonald. You go to McDonald's because you want to eat a Big Mac, okay? Sure, marketing plays a role, but if you didn't actually like the chemical compounds that they're cooking up in a laboratory that specifically tickle your taste buds in a way where you want to eat that burger over and over again, you would never go to McDonald's. Holy it's so stupid. It is so dumb. People just like, I don't understand. You don't do this in any other, you don't do this for any other reason, okay? American analogy would be like, imagine hamburger. Yes, I have to do that because I am talking to Americans, okay? I'm talking to Americans. And people that say, well, what about Trump? Don't realize Trump is offering people something. He's offering them change. He might be lying about it, but he's at least making a compelling case for how different he is going to be than everyone else. Do you understand? For Trump, The hamburger he's serving is trans people. We're going to kill every undocumented migrant. We're going to we're going to force them out of this country. Okay? And also, we're going to destroy the way things have existed that you haven't succeeded in. The previous way of doing business and doing politics has demonstrably failed for you, the average working class individual. So I'm presenting an alternative. And people looked at that and went, okay, well, I don't want business as usual. I want this new thing. I want to mallet through the institutions because the institutions have never represented my interests. Yeah. And yeah, the only thing that the Democrats have done is basically just like, I guess, try and act as though this is a real issue with the gerontocracy, which it is. Gerontocracy is a problem for sure. But once again, I go back to my argument about Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is 954 years old. Okay? Bernie Sanders is not a uniquely telegenic figure. Bernie Sanders is not a uniquely charismatic figure. He's not a once-in-a-lifetime candidate. He doesn't have the same level of charisma that Obama did. Bernie Sanders is successful and popular and beloved because he has spent a lifetime hyper-focusing on the policies. He spent his entire 954 years on Earth constantly fighting for the things that he believes. Okay? Why is this communist talking? Adam Johnson criticizes Andrew Cuomo's stupid campaign by saying, so funny that he now has to shoot B-roll of himself talking to average people, and he looks annoyed and very bored. All previous footage of Cuomo actually in New York City was FBI surveillance-style telephoto shoots of him getting out of a black car and walking into $2,500 plate fundraisers. Here,